Thank you everyone for joining Sumant and me for this small get-together which we have done. Let's start the program with Salma ji's conversation and Sumant. Who doesn't know Salma ji? The grace, the rose, and the intrigueness. So everything is packaged together, and that makes Salma ji. And it's a short conversation which we will be doing, and thereafter there is a performance. So please wait for the whole program. And let's start with Salma ji, who has always been with us for all our milestones, and how could she be not part of this program. So over to Salma ji, please.
यहाँ पर तो इवनिंग लग रहा है लेकिन बाहर आई थिंक आफ्टरनून है तो आई से गुड आफ्टरनून ब्यूटीफुल ऑडियंस So congratulations Sumant Batra for giving us Anarkali. But before we discuss the book, we would like to know Sumant Batra as a person. You are an eminent insolvency lawyer. You established there a literary festival. Then you went on to create cinemas, where you have some very valuable archival material pertaining to the film industry. And even the film industry has not been able to do it for the past 100 years, which he has done it. And now recently, Goa Cultural Center. So how do you sum up? So and so contradictory.
जी मुझे लगता है कि जैसे कहते हैं कि जब भी आप कुछ भी पैशनेटली करना चाहते हैं, शिद्दत से करना चाहते हैं, तो ज़र्रा कनायत का जो है वो कंस्पायर करता है टू मेक इट हैपन. एंड आई थिंक it's the forces of nature that make happen whatever I endeavor to do. But yes, when I take up anything to do, whether it is Te Aroha, whether it is Cinemazi, whether it is the book or my profession, there are three principles that I'm absolutely uncompromising about. One is complete dedication, complete sincerity, and complete honesty. But I have to say this, that in whatever I have accomplished in life so far in diverse spheres, all that is something that I cannot take credit for alone. It's always a sea of people that make it happen. I may have the ideas, but you need a team to execute. And therefore, it's all the team that is a part of the Tearoha, part of Cinemazi, part of my law firm, part of my law practice, part of now Insolvency Law Academy, and of course now Goa. This is all of us, their energy, their goodwill, all of it that makes it happen, and of course the blessings and good wishes of all those who are associated with us. And of course, all this would not have been possible without the support of Asha, because at the end of the day, there is so much that I do which takes away so much of my time away from the family, and also it requires a huge amount of resources, which also comes at the cost of family, and that won't be possible without her support. नहीं तो घर में तो फिर वो हो नहीं सकता है जब तक आपका पार्टनर आपके साथ.
You rightly said it. I think because since we live close by, so I've seen Asha participating in all the activities, and plus that she's such a calm person. She looks after the house, she looks after the children, and yet she's so smiling, so calm and composed. So I think you'll also admit that your inspiration to do new things comes from your beautiful wife. So should we say that your Anarkali has to do something with that your wife, or how did you get the inspiration to write Anarkali after writing so many other things, especially from law to Anarkali?
मैं डिप्लोमेटिक हूँ, पर इतना डिप्लोमेटिक भी नहीं हूँ
Please
कि
be honest.
अनारकली और आशा में एक reality और एक imagination का फर्क है. Anarkali is imaginary, she is a fiction, she is a figment of my imagination, but at the same point of time, she is a very powerful character. Anarkali जो है, मुझे लगता है और मुझे लगता है कि उनके साथ बहुत ज़्यादती हुई है कि 450 साल में किसी ने ऐसी कोशिश नहीं की कि उनको एक ऐसी आइडेंटिटी दी जाए जो उनको एक ऐसे प्रिज्म से देखे जो कि मुगल आज़म से हटके है. बिकॉज चाहे वो मुगल आज़म फिल्म थी या उससे पहले 2 अनारकली फिल्म बनी या साइलेंट एरा में 2 फिल्म बनी, वो सब इम्तियाज़ अली ताज की जो प्ले था उस पर बेस्ड थी. और वो प्ले एक एपिसोड है विच इज़ द लव अफेयर बिटवीन सलीम एंड अनारकली. सो फॉर मी, when I came across this particular subject, and that's a different story how I came across, which is also mentioned in the book, I was quite intrigued that why is it that nobody has written about her at all? And she's such a fascinating character. She has dominated the imagination of creative people, whether they're filmmakers or otherwise, over 400 years. Then why hasn't anybody documented her life in whatever way? So वो मेरी imagination है और उस imagination में मैंने बहुत liberties ली हैं creative. वो एक मेरे हिसाब से एक वो शख्सियत हैं जिसको मैंने एक खुद की ज़िंदगी दी है. उनका नाम, उनकी आइडेंटिटी, वो कहाँ से आई, उनके पेरेंट्स कौन थे, क्यों वो इतने पैशनेट थी डांस कथक के बारे में, और ऑब्वियसली why and how she fell in love with Salim, and why is it, and more importantly, that love affair did not find favor of her. क्योंकि ऐसी क्या बात, after all, they were entitled to have as many wives or affairs. Then why was this something which created such tensions that they were brought to the brink of war? That is. तो ऐसे कैरेक्टर के बारे में आपको लिखना ही इतना बड़ा चैलेंज है, तो उसके लिए इमेजिनेशन करने के लिए भी मुझे लगता है बहुत हिम्मत चाहिए थी. हाँ, ये आप कह सकते हैं कि वो हिम्मत आशा से आती है, मगर वो एक डिफरेंट पर्सनैलिटी है जो अनारकली हैं, और आशा एक डिफरेंट पर्सनैलिटी है.
I agree. So she was a strong woman, but what were those traits in her personality that navigated her through the storm and she faced the mighty kingdom? What were those salient features of her personality?
मुझे लगता है कि जो सबसे बड़ा सवाल उठता है, वो जो भी अनारकली के बारे में जानना चाहेगा, पढ़ेगा, वो ये है कि ऐसा क्या था कि वो she could pick up a confrontation with one of the tallest emperors of India, और इतना पावरफुल इंसान के सामने आप सकम नहीं करी, और आपने she decided to die rather than surrender her love. और ऐसी शख्सियत के लिए ड्राइविंग फैक्टर क्या था? और जब मैंने रिसर्च करी तो मैंने रियलाइज किया कि it just can't be love alone. It has a lot to do with how she was brought up. What was her childhood all about? What was the sufferings? Why did she become a rebel? And of course, why did she feel that love was something that transgressed beyond just trying to seek a union with your beloved? And you could actually find that immense amount of happiness in even by loving someone from a distance, or in a way making a sacrifice for that person. And I think that is what made the love of Anarkali and Salim eternal in that sense, and that resonates with us even after 400 plus years. और दूसरा फैक्टर था, मुझे लगता है कि जिसको अभी तक अकाउंट फॉर नहीं किया गया, कि it was not just about Anarkali and Salim, which led to whatever happened as a confrontation, as the tension. It had a lot to do with the relationship which Salim had with his father, which has been written about quite a lot. Akbar felt that Salim was not living up to his expectations, and he had actually, we all know कि वो पैदल चल के गए थे अजमेर मांगने, और कितना उन्होंने और जब सलीम पैदा हुए तो शेखू उनको बुलाते थे वो, और उनको बहुत उम्मीद थी उनसे कि वो मेरे जो मुगल एम्पायर को आगे लेके जाएंगे, और उनको जस्ट डिसअपॉइंटमेंट होने लगी जब वो ओपीएम में थोड़ा ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व हो गए, वाइन ड्रिंकिंग में हो गए, और शिकार में उनको ज़्यादा शौक था. So he started feeling that he's letting me down. His expectations of Salim were very unrealistic in a way, and disproportionate to what Salim wanted. Salim felt कि मुझे अपनी ज़िंदगी अपने तरीके से जीनी है, and he was quite able. It's not that he was not able, but all the tension between the two was also something that played a role in ultimately how it manifested into this whole story evolving finally, and also the role that Noor Jahan played, and both Hamida, his mother, and Gulbadan, the aunt, and of course Jodhabai herself, because Jodhabai also had to sacrifice her own love affair to get married to Akbar, and that was a political compromise that was made at that point in time. So for her, despite that sacrifice, she found a life of her own, which she was quite happy about, and she could see that getting repeated with her son, because Akbar felt that since Salim is not able enough, he needs a companion or a wife which can actually stand by him, and that is how it turned out. Noor Jahan ruled the empire by proxy. So those elements also played their own role. It was a combination of various factors which ultimately resulted in this whole tragedy. So it was not just Anarkali and Salim in that case, or our own character. These were various factors, a confluence of them, which really ultimately manifested in a way that we see as a tragic ending.
So when you were recounting this saga of Anarkali's love, did you go through any emotional transformation? Was it cathartic for you?
Well, it was. I mean, I think the research part was quite fine. In 2.5 years of research, I traveled to Lahore, I traveled to Allahabad, innumerably to Fatehpur Sikri and to Agra, and of course read a huge number of books, both fiction as well as history. All that was fine, but when I started writing about Anarkali, and of course, in the book, Akbar, Salim, and Hamida, Gulbadan, they all are very powerful characters, and even of course Anarkali's mother, her youngest sister. Now all these characters, I had to really, travel from one character to the other. So it was fine till I was sort of portraying Akbar and Salim, because as a male, you have a certain understanding of a male behavior, response, psyche. The most difficult part was to step into the shoes of the characters of Anarkali in terms of writing and getting into the mind, and to be able to look at from the female gaze, and not just as a female gaze, but a young female, who's in her teens when she falls in love with Salim, and obviously when her conversations with the mother happen. So mother-daughter relationship, all that was probably the most toughest part. But yes, I mean, I to answer your question, yes, Anarkali was something which I've lived for about 2.5 years, and living that character while practicing your law and standing on your legs in the court, and to be able to focus on your case and your file, and also do other things that we do, was difficult. But Asha would tell you that in the mornings and the early evenings, she would see my expressions changing, sometimes frowning, smiling, because when I was thinking, I was living that character over a period of time. So yes, but it was an experience, and I think I still am trying to come out of that. And the only way it will happen is to start working on the next book, which I have already done. Hopefully that will help.
यहाँ मेरा सवाल का जवाब थोड़ा अधूरा रह गया।
जी,
जो आपने,
जी।
क्योंकि आप वकील हैं तो बहुत बच के निकल गए। मैं ये जानना चाहती हूँ कि ये मोहब्बत की जो कहानी आपने लिखी और जिस पैशन से आपने लिखी है, तो क्या कथासिस थी, मतलब आपने एज अ पर्सन क्या महसूस किया, मतलब आपकी जो आइडेंटिटी एज अ लॉयर उसको अलग करके, देन व्हाट डिड यू फील? वुड लाइक टू नो दैट, इवन आशा वुड लाइक टू नो दैट।
जी मैं इसका जवाब
आशा आपका अटेंशन चाहिए, क्योंकि अनारकली के बाद इनकी असली अनारकली आप ही हैं, सो बी अटेंटिव।
जी मैं आपको बताऊं कि जो why I probably felt very passionate about uh, the the love affair and the intensity of it, the purity of it, the sacrifice, the ability to put the other before the self. I think that comes in my subconscious probably, and it's a bit controversial when I say that, and when I talk about it, some people do take an affront to this, is that I believe that the kind of love that we have read about, whether it's the legends of Laila Majnun, Shini Farhad, or even Salima, Anarkali, or whether it was in some of the English literature, जो हिंदुस्तानी ट्रेडिशनल लिटरेचर में हमने देखा है, चाहे वो सिनेमा में देखा है, पढ़ा है, we see it very differently today. I'm not saying that it is bad or good. I'm not judging the current generation in terms of how they approach the love. They're entitled to. I think they have their own way of looking at the love and its sustainability. And I talk about the breakups and how they mend their ways and move on. These kind of things. There's nothing wrong in that, but I do believe that what our generation and the generation behind us, who we have observed or read about, saw love through a prism that existed at that point in time, through many generations, is just broken. That prism is nowhere to be seen. And I think without judging or in any manner, saying that one is better or in not, let's say, I want to be very, very, very mindful about the words that I use, because in the early conversation that I had on the night you were there, one young girl did take an offense to that, how can you, we have our own freedom, we want to do breakups or जी जी तो but मेरे कहने का हमेशा ये था कि हमने जिस तरह से मोहब्बत को देखा है, समझा है, चाहे वो किताबों में है, चाहे फिल्मों में है और रियल लाइफ में है, वो आज देखने को मिलती नहीं है। और मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि इसमें एक साइलेंट ही होना चाहिए था, कि मुगल आजम में आप पूरी सिनेमा में फिल्म में देख लीजिए, एक ही एक्सप्रेशन है इंटीमेसी का, जिसमें वो फेदर जो है टच ब्रशेस अगेंस्ट द चीक ऑफ मधुबाला देव कुमार, एंड दैट probably is one of the most memorable, iconic, and which is etched in stones, and I think would be for many many years and generations to come. आज वो मोमेंट्स है ही नहीं है, तो मुझे लगता है कि वो कहीं ना कहीं मैं अपने सबकॉन्शियस में मुझे लगता है कि उसको एक बारी लाना जरूरी था, इस जनरेशन को उसके बारे में बताना जरूरी था कि कैसे इंटेंसिटी हो सकती है सेल्फलेस लव की, और कैसे उसमें डिविनिटी है, और कैसे है। तो आई थिंक मेरे सबकॉन्शियस में शायद
तो वकील साहब आपने आप बिल्कुल सही जवाब दिया, और कई मिथ आपने तोड़ी हैं अनारकली में। तो यहाँ एक मिथ मैं भी ब्रेक करना चाहती हूँ, वो ये है कि क्योंकि हमारी और आशा की मुलाकात दिन में कई बार होती है और हर हुलिये में होती है, तो 2 साल 3 साल 4 साल में ये देखती रही कि ये बहुत सीधे कुर्ते पाजामे में इसका मैंने पूछा आशा तुम कभी तैयार नहीं होती? कहने कि नहीं तैयार क्या करें भाई, वो सुमंत अपने में बिजी रहते हैं, मैं अपने काम में बिजी रहती हूँ। तो मिथ ये टूट रही है कि देयर सलीम इन योर हाउस, सो आप तैयार होना शुरू करिए, क्योंकि इतनी सेंसिटिविटी इतने साल लगे अनारकली के जरिए निकली, तो अक्सर ऐसा होता है। तो बहुत अच्छा हो कि आपने मेरी राय मान ली, तो एक मिथ तो ये खैर टूट गई, बहुत अच्छा हुआ। अच्छा, आई थिंक इन योर बुक यू आर सेलिब्रेटिंग लव, जिसकी अभी हम बात कर रहे थे नई जनरेशन की, एंड यू आर सेलिब्रेटिंग प्योर लव इन इमोशंस, but how is it relatable to the young generation which is going totally in a different direction and refuses to listen or practice that?
Like, there are some very good aspects of how the young approach the love, and I wish that in our times we could have done that as well. So there's a lot to learn from them too, in terms of ability to express, ability to be more forthcoming, ability to enjoy their freedom, and the freedom not that they give to themselves, but what they have been able to get from their parents and their ecosystem. Because वो एक हम अलग एक system में रहते भी थे, but I celebrate that with them, and for my daughter, my son, we've never really questioned, never asked them anything. कहाँ जा रहे हो, कैसे है, किसके साथ, कौन है, और जैसे है, because we trust them and we respect their freedom, their decision, and we also trust their decisions. So I think that's the part that you need to celebrate. But what I often do also feel concerned about is that their relationships are perhaps not as thought through and not built over a period of time as what we used to. Because वो जो एक journey of getting to reach your महबूबा या महबूब, वो उसका भी एक मजा था, चाहे वो खत लिख करके आप उसका इंतजार करें, या आप कॉलेज में दूर खड़े होकर के एक ग्लिम्स लें.
खूब पर्दा है कि चिलमन से लगे बैठे हैं, साफ छुपते भी नहीं, सामने आते भी नहीं.
जी बिल्कुल. और वो मुझे लगता है कि बहुत सारे शायर और बहुत सारी कविताएं, बहुत सारी स्टोरीज उसी रोमांस पे बेस्ड थी, बिकॉज एक एनिग्मा था, एक हेजिटेशन थी, एक रिस्पेक्ट थी, एक सस्पेंस था, एक डिजायर थी, एक वांट थी. आजकल वो है नहीं. आई मीन इट्स 30 सेकेंड, कैन वी गो फॉर अ डेट. तो वो एक जर्नी जो है, आई थिंक वो मुझे लगता है कि मिस होती है. और लिखने वाले वो जो एक दास्तानें कहाँ बनेंगी, कहाँ वो एक्सप्रेशंस आएंगे जो आपके जहन में आते हैं जब आप किससे मिलना चाहते हैं, हम नहीं मिल पा रहे हैं, आप अनश्योर हैं, श्योर हैं, ये जैसे हैं, या आपका दिल टूटता है, वो सब दास्तानें हो नहीं रही हैं. वो मुझे लगता है लिरिक्स भी उस तरह से इसलिए सिनेमा में किस तरह से डिटेरियोरेट होते जा रहे हैं.
मैं समझती हूँ.
जी सॉरी, I know that maybe entirely my personal view and maybe off the mark, but मुझे लगता है, और इसलिए मुझे लगा कि आज की जनरेशन को भी इस तरह की किताबें लिखनी चाहिए. बिकॉज आज आप अगर पैशनेट लव स्टोरी लिखें, या तो उस लेवल पे लिखी जाती हैं कि कॉलेज के स्टूडेंट्स पढ़ें, कुछ ऑथर्स लिखते हैं ऐसे, और वो 100-150 रुपए वाली किताब. बट आई वांटेड टू राइट समथिंग विच इज क्रेडिबल, विच इज बेस्ड ऑन गुड रिसर्च एंड कम्स स्ट्रेट फ्रॉम द हार्ट.
हाँ, मैं समझती हूँ सुमन कि आई थिंक चाहे वो इस किताब की मीडियम से हो, आपको जो ये लव की प्योरिटी है, इमोशन की लव, चाहे वो किसी भी टाइप का हो, उसको स्ट्रांगली एडवोकेट करना चाहिए. वो इसलिए करना चाहिए कि यंग जनरेशन का एक रास्ता पकड़ा हुआ, एक चेंज है, एक वक्त की ज़रूरत है कि वो नई चीज़ों को अपना रहे हैं. लेकिन हम लोगों का या ओल्ड जनरेशन का फ़र्ज़ है कि जो खूबसूरती हमने महसूस की है वो हम उनको दिखाएं तो ना. अगर हमने नहीं दिखाया तो उन्हें पता क्या चलेगा कि खूबसूरती क्या थी. So that way I think you're doing a great work, and I think you should advocate this purity of emotion, whether it's love with your mehbooba or with whatever form. Now my question is that Mughal Azam is a classic, will always remain a classic. But you know, it has captured our imagination to such an extent that we cannot think beyond that. मेरा सवाल ये है कि क्या आपकी अनारकली हमको इस कैद से आज़ाद करवाएगी?
ये सवाल जनाब ने किया, दिनेश त्रिवेदी साहब ने आते कि जब भी आप अनारकली का सवाल ख्याल करते हैं तो आपके जहन में मधुबाला आती हैं. मेरा बिगेस्ट चैलेंज ये था, हाउ टू सॉर्ट ऑफ unlearn that part of my imagination and unwind it and do it differently. So yes, मैं आपको बताऊं कि एक मेरे को लगा कि मेरे पास ये एडवांटेज भी है और ये डिसएडवांटेज भी है. डिसएडवांटेज ये है कि yes, a generation which has seen Madhubala or Ibina Rai before that, or who have known or read about Mughal Azam, they would always in their mind compare. And that is a challenge that I'll need to meet. So therefore, I needed to justify Anarkali in such a way that it sort of catches their imagination as well as it did mine. और उसके लिए मेरे लिए ज़रूरी था कि मैं उसका कैरेक्टर बिल्ड करूँ. It was not just around her beauty and dance only. उसका एक कैरेक्टर, उसकी पर्सनालिटी, उसकी एक जो अपब्रिंगिंग है, उसकी सोच है, वो सब, और तभी वो ग्रो कर पाएगी सिर्फ उसकी ब्यूटी. और आई वॉज लॉस्ट फॉर वर्ड्स एंड आई हैव टू से कि मेरे को सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज मैं कैसे करूँ. तो अभी हमने एक रिट्रीट किया था तेरवा में, तो उसमें एक ऑथर हैं अनुजा चंद्रमौली, वो आई थी, माइथोलॉजी लिखती हैं वो. तो वापसी पे एक दिन हमारे साथ घर पे रुकी, हम डाइनिंग टेबल पे बैठे थे, तो मैंने उनको कहा, तो फिर उनसे गुफ्तगू हुई, तो उस में कुछ उन्होंने मुझे कहा, उनसे मुझे अल्फाज मिले, और आई थिंक it just struck me because she probably opened that part of the mind which I was not using, and I've actually given that credit to her, that she gave me the words to describe the beauty of it. I mean, these are my words, but I think she led me in that direction. तो मुझे लगता है कि मैंने जो खूबसूरती अनारकली की जो पर्सनालिटी डिस्क्राइब करी है, वो शायद और जब रीडर्स पढ़ेंगे तो वो इमेजिन करेंगे, और अगर उस पर इंशाल्लाह अगर उस पर सिनेमैटिक वर्जन बनता है तो उस पर जो भी करेंगे. तो 9 तारीख को विशाल भारद्वाज जी ने बुक लॉन्च करी थी, तो उन्होंने तो वही अनाउंस कर दिया था कि समन इस पर सिनेमा बनना चाहिए और मैं बनाऊंगा, और मेरे से मिले यहाँ करके, बहुत अच्छा रहेगा. बिकॉज ही सेड कि अनारकली के बारे में सिर्फ मुगल आजम की तरह से देखना है इस बात को.
I was coming to that because I was reading a book and
मैं आपको सॉरी आपको इंटरप्ट कर रहा हूँ, एक मैं बात को खत्म करना चाह रहा था कि जो मेरे को एडवांटेज है वो ये है कि जो जनरेशन है, जो देव सिया और उनकी जनरेशन है, और मे बी से जो 4 साल 5, उन्होंने मुगल आजम पढ़ी नहीं, ना देखी नहीं है. उन्होंने अनारकली तो खैर बहुत दूर की बात है, और मुझे लगता है वो अनारकली अगर वो देखते हैं तो शायद पॉपअप करता होगा, तो अनारकली जो एक ड्रेस है उसके बारे में है, ज़्यादा जानते होंगे. हाँ, अनारकली ड्रेस. तो देयर आई हैव अ कंप्लीट स्लेट आल्सो टू कैच द इमेजिनेशन, बिकॉज उन्होंने ना मधुबाला को देखा है, ना मधुबाला को अनारकली से एसोसिएट किया है. सो होपफुली एटलीस्ट विद दैट जनरेशन आई डोंट हैव द चैलेंज ऑफ having to do this comparison. Or
I agree with you because मैं आपकी किताब पढ़ रही थी, और your style of writing is so vivid and so picturesque. It's almost a complete screenplay. मतलब मैं महसूस कर रही थी, मुझे उनकी जो फीलिंग्स थी वो सुनाई दे रही थी, and I was virtually living that life, you know. So, as you said, do you see a possibility of seeing it on a big screen? How confident you are about it?
I don't know. I mean, इस समय वो focus तो नहीं है, because my priority is that the book should reach the readers and they appreciate it, they like it, and once they like it, I'm sure as a matter of natural course someone will come across. पर एक challenge होता है, जैसे संजीव कुमार की जो पिछली book मेरी co-author थी संजीव कुमार पे, जो उनकी ऑथराइज बायोग्राफी है, उस पर 3 प्रोडक्शन हाउसेज हैं हमारे को अप्रोच किया, और हमारा एक ही सवाल था कि संजीव कुमार कौन एक्ट करेगा, बिकॉज वी डिडंट वांट टू गिव द राइट्स टू समवन हु वोंट बी एबल टू जस्टिस टू संजीव कुमार, ही इज सच अ वर्सेटाइल एक्टर. तो उस समय ऋषि कपूर थे, तो बात हुई थी, लेकिन अनफॉर्चुनेटली पास्ड अवे, और उसकी वजह से वो बात वहीं पर रह गई है. तो ये सवाल फिर विशाल, किसी ने ऑडियंस से पूछा था कि अगर बनेगी तो अनारकली कौन होगी, तो मेरा तो एक ही जवाब था कि अगर यही बुक आज से कुछ साल पहले आई होती तो सलमा जी ही करते, तो फिर और तो कोई बनता ही नहीं. मेरे जहन में तो और कोई आता नहीं है जो आप जिसको मैं फिट इन कर सकता हूँ उस बिल में. और अब तो आप डांस भी सीख रही हैं.
दिली जाता कहूँ या खुदा ज़रा उम्र रफ्ता को आवाज़ देना. खैर बहरहाल, थैंक यू सो मच, यू आर बीइंग वेरी जेनरस. आपकी इतनी बातें सुनी, आपके इतने डिफरेंट फील्ड्स में आप काम कर रहे हैं, तो मुझे मजाज साहब की ये 2 लाइनें याद आ रही हैं जो बिल्कुल आप पे मौजू होती हैं. कि रास्ते में रुक के दम लूं ये मेरी आदत नहीं, रास्ते में रुक के दम लूं ये मेरी आदत नहीं, लौट कर वापस चला जाऊं मेरी फितरत नहीं. So what next, Sumant Batra?
जी ये कुछ ना कुछ तो चलता रहता है. जी, अभी तो 2-3 चीज़ों पे बहुत ध्यान है. एक इंसॉल्वेंसी लॉ एकेडमी है जिसको उसके मुकाम तक पहुंचाना है. अभी 1-2 साल उस पर और मेरा जुनूनी वक्त लगेगा, मगर साइमल्टेनियसली 3 किताबों पे रिसर्च चल रही है. 2 पे एक्चुअल रिसर्च चल रही है, बिकॉज वन इज अ बुक विच इज अराउंड लॉ बट इज very differently presented. एक concept पे है, and that I hope will have a global appeal. और एक किताब और है जिस पे बहुत रिसर्च करना पड़ेगा. वो एक इंसिडेंट है जो इंडिपेंडेंस की बात हुआ था इंडिया, और उस पे लिखा नहीं गया है, तो वो है, उस पे रिसर्च होगा 1-2 साल. लेकिन जो किताब मेरे दिमाग में पक रही है वो सबसे पहले होगी. उसके बारे में मैं ज़्यादा जिक्र तो नहीं कर सकता, पर वो इससे थोड़ा हटके होगी, लेकिन समय में वो बहुत पीछे होगी, और इससे भी कोई 5,000 साल पहले उसकी बेस्ड है. तो उस पर भी रिसर्च बहुत हो चुका है मेरे माइंड में, लेकिन स्टोरी भी बिल्ड हो रही है. सो आई होप बाय सितंबर नेक्स्ट ईयर वी विल हैव एटलीस्ट द नेक्स्ट बुक.
तो आपने सुना कि मतलब मुझे पानी पीने की ज़रूरत पड़ रही है, लेकिन बाद में पीऊँगी. सो सुमंत बत्रा, हम आपको बहुत मुबारकबाद देते हैं, और इसको कंक्लूड करने से पहले मैं एक ही बात कहूँगी, और आई थिंक माय ऑडियंस विल रेजोनेट विद इट, कि मंजिलें कदम चूमेंगी रास्ता खुद बन जाएगा. मंजिलें कदम चूमेंगी रास्ता खुद बन जाएगा, हौसला कर तू, तेरी हिम्मत के सामने आसमां भी झुक जाएगा.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
बहुत
Thank
बहुत
you so much for
मुबारक.
talking
Thank
to
you
me.
so much.
Thank you so much. शुक्रिया सलमा जी, आप मुझसे बात करने के लिए, और आप बहुत बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन हैं हमारे लिए, मेरे लिए, आशा के लिए. जब भी आपसे मिलते हैं, आप कुछ नया कर रही होती हैं, गाना सीख रही होती हैं, डांस करना सीख रही होती हैं, एक डिज़ाइनर हाउस चलाती हैं, और ऑब्वियसली आप इतने डिमांड में हैं, कभी यहाँ कन्वर्सेशन वहाँ कन्वर्सेशन. एक और सितारा हैं जो चुपचाप बैठती हैं वो एक तरफ, लेकिन इतनी जाने पहचानी है, और किसी समय में हम उनको इतना ओमनी प्रेजेंट देखते थे. वो इंग्लिश में न्यूज़ पढ़ती थी, और कई शोज़ करती थी स्मॉल स्क्रीन पर, और उसके बाद ऑब्वियसली कंपेयरिंग बहुत करती थी, और शी इज़ अ सेलिब्रिटी इन हर ओन राइट, एंड वन ऑफ द मोस्ट ब्यूटिफुल वुमेन alongside Salma ji. Meenu ji, can I please invite you to come and read a part from my book, please? Thank you so much. Meenu is also a family, and we are so delighted that you're here, Meenu, with us today. Please.
Well, that was a very interesting conversation that Sumant ji and Salma ji had about the enigma that was Anarkali. But for me, whether she was a fact or fiction, I have often wondered how and from where did she get this mere Nautch girl, where did she get the courage to face the wrath of a mighty emperor and not recant, even as she was being walled up alive, slowly, brick by brick. I found a clue to this puzzle in Sumant Batra's reimagining of the story of Anarkali. He has given a dimension to her character which explains the inner strength and the unflinching conviction of her decisions. He imbues her, to my mind, with spiritual longings and yearnings. And it is this spiritual core, I feel, that was the basis of her fearlessness and steadfastness in all her decisions, which is also why her dance dance to her was not just a master class in intricate footwork and pirouettes, but it was a medium of devotion, where the body, the mind, and the soul were so perfectly aligned so as to achieve a sublime state of union as that of Radha and Krishna during Ras Leela. And it is this devotion, I find, that makes her dance not just exquisite, but ecstatic and ethereal. In this vein, let me read a paragraph or two from the book itself, which so vividly conveys what I have just said. He writes, with complete devotion, she took the first delicate step, her feet making good contact with the floor. As if the music was playing to her mind, her body came alive, radiating grace and finesse. Her eyes, filled with passion and determination, communicated a story that could be expressed in no other way. Every movement of her fingers, every twist of her wrists, every mudra mirrored the emotions flowing through her. Her intricate footwork, precise and rhythmic, filled the air with an enduring melody of its own. Her feet, adorned with bells, created a symphony tapping against the floor in perfect synchrony to the music. The sound resonated throughout the room, echoing the passion that emanated from each and every pore of her body. Her body was a canvas, painting a vivid picture of the devotion and dedication. With each spin and twirl, she defied gravity, her body effortlessly floating through the air. Her energy was infectious, spreading joy and inspiration to everyone present. The performance was not just a demonstration of skill, it was a celebration of life and love. So in this same vein, now we have to celebrate Anarkali's this passion for dance, her energy, her poise, and her elegance. And we have someone who has come all the way from Pune to join us in creating the life and times of the Mughal court, the aura that was present then. We have with us Siddhi Goel. She's a dancer of the Lucknow Gharana, a disciple of Pandit Jai Kishan Maharaj, who is the elder son of Padma Vibhushan Birju Maharaj ji. Siddhi is also a scholar presently researching on Kathak in the Bombay cinema. Siddhi Goel.
Thank you so much, Siddhi. Uh, this is always the most difficult moment because how does one thank a sea of people who make happen things that we do, both Asha and I. And each one of you are in this room. You all have supported, and I'm sure will continue to support things that we do in your own way. But there's one person who I wanted to invite on the stage who has always stood rock solid behind us, has been a mentor, has been like an elder brother, has always been very, very supportive of everything that we have done. Justice Arjun Sikri, please, could you please come and say a few words?
Thank you, Sumant, and good afternoon to all of you. It was really a mesmerizing event which you have organized, and actually that is what it shows. That is what I was wondering. Is every program of every nature, I mean, it's just something which is unique. You would not have seen such an event. I mean, there may be various book launch events, etc., or on the about the books, but this kind of event where if the theme of the novel is Anarkali and you have Anarkali dance as well, apart from a wonderful dialogue which you had today, and we really came to know much about you. I was just thinking when we talk of lawyers and judges or legal profession, it's very dry and insipid. And eh, people won't like to even go to court. A person, nobody wants to go to court or go to doctor. But I remember there was many years ago uh, in England about the litigants, those who are forced to go to court. So the experience and the phrases which were used was intimidating, daunting. I mean, something which is really that you don't want to be there. And lawyers and judges, of course, they are immersed in their work, but there would be very, very few lawyers or judges who would have forayed into, I mean, something apart from law. And as I said, from this dry profession to something which is more interesting in life, which makes your life more interesting. And Sumant is one of them. If I can say two persons in this category, Parag Tripathi, who is sitting here, uh, wonderful. I mean, always he is such a great shire also. He has so much interest in shayari, in history. His knowledge extra is awesome when he talks about that. His, he's a rare coin collector, and he knows about each coin the way. He's a sommelier, certified sommelier, who's so much passion for wines and whiskies as well. And of course, I would not say much about that. Other person which I found from judiciary is Rohinton Nariman, with these kind of varied interests. And here we have with us Sumant. I was remembering, just as Sareen is sitting here, he would also recollect when it was our first meeting for the creation of INSOL India chapter with Justice Wadhwa. And Justice Sareen became the first president. Uh, Mr. Arun Jaitley and Justice Wadhwa had taken the lead. And Mr. Arun Jaitley introduced at that time that here is Sumant, a young chap, and we would like him to become the secretary. He, of course, there was one secretary general also. I'm not naming a senior lawyer who was made and he was given, but that person didn't take much interest in the kind of mileage which Sumant drew out of it. I'm just not talking about his passion and his hard work. And everybody knows rest is history. Within few years from that INSOL India, where I mean, those who are not lawyers, just for your consumption, there was hardly any insolvency laws in India, and we were Insol India became a chapter of Insol International. And in Insol International, which is naturally an association of where almost all the countries, lawyers and those who practice in profession like chartered accountants, etc., are members, more than 10,000 membership from all over, where India was totally insignificant, which no legal framework also in those times, because our IBC law came only in 2016. But within few years, as Secretary of Insol India, a chapter, and he became the president of Insol International. I mean, that is the credit which goes to him. They're kind of, just intruding into the field and then rising to the top. Then, after a few years, I find he has established or he has created a wonderful hotel, De Aroha, a totally different kind of venture. And you see the architecture of that and the manner in which it is designed, a boutique hotel, but a totally different kind of hotel, not run-of-the-mill stuff. Then we come to know that he is now started, he is going to create a museum about Indian cinema and the artifacts, etc., about all those and that stuff, which is, he has kept much in De Aroha also, and now in Goa as well, he has created that. Then comes in insolvency again, a new step, Insolvency Law Academy, first in the world on Law Academy insolvency, and it's not an occasion to say, but again, within 1 year, the kind of reputation which it has earned due to his sheer passion and hard work in the world over. And since I am privy to that, I can say about this. And yes, he went into writing as well, writes first book on insolvency, a legal book. Then, as you have come to know, comes with this about Sanjeev Kumar, his biographical, and now a fiction, a novel. Coming to Anarkali, we have heard a lot. Let me give a legal or constitutional perspective of what, because that is what we normally always tend to move in that direction. The way you explained, I was just wondering, you see, the identity which he has tried to give to Anarkali as a character, and the dignity which he has sought to give. It is the basic human right. So a character who lived, we don't know, it's still a debate whether she is a mythological or fictional character, or she really, lived in this world. But whatever it is, what I'm saying is that after 500 or 600 years, you have given her basic human right, constitutional right, which everybody should enjoy. And I see it from that point of view. Another aspect of this Anarkali, which you see, there are two greatest, I feel, kings in our history in last 2000 years, which India has produced. One was Ashoka, the great. Other I see is the Akbar. Was known in this country, he was one person who in that time also believed that all religions are same and in secularism, and he was an epitome of justice. For that he is known. But Anarkali is one example which showed that look, मैं कैसे आपका तख्त ताज हिला सकती हूँ, because when he did not give justice to her, a person who was epitome of justice and is known as one of the greatest kings. So it was because of, he wanted to save his dynasty or whatever was the reason, didn't want a Kaniz to come and become a queen for whatever reason, but uska takto taj bhi hil gaya tha Anarkali, and that was the power of Anarkali. So I see it from this angle. And again, I would not take time and wrap up with this, that there are many people in this world who have done wonderfully well. there are many people who have passion. They may have same qualities or even better qualities than Sumant. They may be better equipped. They may be more intelligent. But it is not that everybody reaches these kinds of, pinnacles or achieves these kinds of milestones. I've always believed that apart from your own passion, your own hard work, your own luck, there's one plus factor which may not be with everybody and which is with Sumant. And that plus factor is blessings of the parents and grace of God, which I think God has showered His grace in abundance on you. So keep doing all this. We have heard about your future projects which you are coming out with, and my good luck to you and all the best. Thank you very much.
आपने इंसुल इंडिया का जिक्र किया सर. देयर इज वन पर्सन हु आई हैव टू गिव क्रेडिट टू फॉर enabling me to use Insul India as a stepping stone in my insolvency career, and that is Justice Manmohan Sareen, because he was the first president, as Justice Sikri pointed out, and he was the man who gave me complete freedom. उन्होंने इतना मुझे encourage किया और कहा कि बेटा ठीक है कर, और and I do hope sir that I lived up to your expectations, and he still calls me a son. अगर मैं अपने पेरेंट्स के बाद दो जनों के पैरों को हाथ लगा दूँ, बड़े भाई हैं लगाने नहीं देते हैं, तो वो एक जस्टिस सरीन हैं और हमेशा सर रहेंगे. आपको तकलीफ़ दूंगा जी, 1 मिनट स्टेज पे आए मेरी किताब के साथ. एक आप जी जी आए और आप एंड नाउ लंच प्लीज़. मुझे पता है कि आप कोशिश करेंगे कि निकल जाएं, नहीं, प्लीज़ हैव लंच विद अस, विल फील वेरी हैप्पी. एंड थैंक यू सो मच ऑल ऑफ यू फॉर joining us and being a part of this celebration. I really appreciate very much, because I know that you have so many commitments, all of you, but I'm really humbled, both Asha and I, that you are here today with us to celebrate the book. Thank you so much. Thank you. जी 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 हिंदी वर्जन निकालेंगे, बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हिंदुस्तानी वर्जन. जी 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 थैंक यू.